Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be creating one of my favorite go-to looks for when I'm going out for an evening event. Here in Toronto, things are going back to normal. We are able to gather and go to events. We're able to wear lip colors without covering them with a mask. We're able to just kind of go back to a previous state of life. I'm going to show you how to create the look. When I'm recording this video, there is a sale on Refer's website to where everything is 40% off. I'm going to use as many as I can in today's video. Use a lot more brushes than normal, but this way you're going to be able to see pretty much all of Refer's brushes in actions, how I would use them, and how to create a look that is you but more enhanced, you but smoky. It's a very kind of feel good, amplify yourself makeup look, and it's a look that I really love. Put on something comfortable that you can move in, that way you can get in different positions and you can just move everything where you want it to be. Once you're comfy, we will get right into this video. The primer I've been reaching for recently that just really makes my skin look its best is the Guerlain Meteorites base. This is an interesting primer because it is a kind of clear jelly with these pink luminous pearls suspended in it. It gives the skin a very smooth but luminous base to it. I like to prime my lips as well. So one of my favorite products to prime my lips with is the Tatcha Kisu lip mask. Instead of using a traditional eyeshadow primer for like a look where I want it to look its best and kind of last all day, I will swap my basic eyeshadow primer for a cream eyeshadow. One of my favorite cream shadows to prep my eyes with is from Mercier. This is the Caviar stick in the shade Amethyst. It is one of my favorite colors of all time. And then I like to use a small synthetic brush. This is the number 21 from Refer. I like to use something like this after I apply that cream eyeshadow just to go through, really smooth everything out and start kind of manipulating the shape that I applied into how I want the eyeshadow to look when it's fully blended. And when going for more of a special occasion look, I always do eyes before anything else, just in case there's fallout. I'm gonna use the Dior Cool Neutral Palette. Refer number 15 Matte Pink. Start right at the brow bone. This is gonna act like a highlight shade. Refer number 14 brush. It's a smaller tapered brush, matte mauve. Tilt my chin up, look down into a mirror. This is where having a handheld mirror is really useful, especially if your eyes are more hooded. It will stretch the eyelid. That way the working surface is a little bit more taut. It's easier to blend. If I'm not sure how far up to blend, I'll return to neutral, keep the eye relaxed, find the heaviest point of the hood of the eye and start right there. Kind of place your line. You can tilt your chin up and start blending that color. By keeping our brushes angled up about a 45-degree angle, when you're working that color into the socket line to contour the look of the hood to make the eye look a little bit larger, it's going to diffuse your product upwards. That way it's gonna push back that heaviest part of the hood. So now that you know where your guideline is, you can take it towards the outer corner and then blend it as far in as you want. I like to go about 3/4 of the way in and leave the inner corner open. Back and forth, little windshield wiper motions, and then do some small buffing motions. Having perfect symmetry within our face and our eyes is not super common. Whenever you're working one side to the other, your placement for the colors might be a little different. So by returning to neutral, you can see where you need to place the color on the opposite side. So since we haven't done our foundation or concealer, if your shape gets a little out of hand, it's okay. We can clean it up and perfect. Our Refer number 15, since it's slightly larger, has a little bit of that residual pinky shade. I'm gonna go right on the transition or seam between the two colors that we've applied and just gently blend and help diffuse everything. This is the number 13 by Refer Ombre Sculpt. I'm gonna find where I want the most depth. So for me, I'm gonna place it right here, and then I can tilt my chin up to really work on creating that depth. I want to start brightening up the lid. And for that, I'm going to use a brush that is a little bit more flat, but has more of a paddle shape. This is great for packing on color all over the lid. Silver highlight. And I'm going to start on the inner corner of my eye and press and pull just to where we applied that previous darkest shade. This will help kind of create our gradient. And again, right where I applied that shimmer shade where it met the brow, just gonna go through and soften it out. And now I just like to wipe off my brush, shimmering lilac. Start right on the ball of the eye, and you can press over and just drag over. And go back with your mid-tone brush and just soften over. Ulta Beauty Bouncy Cream Shadow. This is in the shade Macaron. Just tap over. There's no need to be precise. You're just adding a little extra pop of something to the eye. This is from MacQueen, New York. This is in the shade 07 Aura Heroine. The number 3 brush from Rougher, bottom row called Matte Plum. The Stila All Day Waterproof Eyeliner in the shade Alloy. And then just right at the root of your lashes, gently drag the liner along. If your eye is slightly downturned, stop your liner where the eye starts sloping down. So find the point right before it starts to slope downwards and stop your liner there. Point your brush downwards and then just gently smooth over the liner that you just applied. Now I just like to dampen a small cotton bud with a little bit of micellar water. If you can guess my favorite foundation right now, pause the video, put it in the comments, and then come back and see if you guessed correctly. If you guessed the One de Chanel foundation, you are correct. The Refer number 31. This is the flagship angled foundation brush. Start in the center of my face next to my nose, and then I just like to press and pull out. I don't take it under my eyes, and if I layer foundation and then concealer over top, things can look very heavy. And then whatever I have left on my brush, I'll go back in and start applying product on my nose. I like to keep my product on the nose very sheer. Since the nose is such a center focal point of the face, product can read heavy right here because that's normally where people's eyes tend to go because they're looking you in the eyes and then your nose is right between the eyes. So if there's a buildup of product there, it can look very heavy. So I like to keep the nose area as thin as possible. And by doing this press and pull stipple motion with your brush, you are going to create the thinnest, most even coverage possible. Refer number 17. I like to use a brush like this just to keep clean, and this flat shape will allow me to go around areas that are prone to gathering product, like the sides of my nose, nasal labial or smile lines, and then you can just gently buff over. The Matchstick from Fenty Beauty, I'm using the shade Amber. A Refer number 4 brush. This is a small angled cheek brush. I like to stop contour at the outer corner of my eye, and that way it doesn't come too far into the center of the face and make the face look gaunt. The Blanc Rosy Lighting Drops. My favorite concealer right now is the NYX Bear With Me concealer. I use shade Light. Refer number 28. Now, using whatever's left on my brush, I will press and pull to kind of meet where I applied to the inner corner and outer corner under the eye so everything's cohesive. And I'm gonna take a Refer number 27. This is a large eyeshadow blending brush. For me, it's a little too big for my eye area, but it's perfect for under eye powder. McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder in shade Light. And now I want to set the rest of my face. I'm going to use my favorite IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores powder. And I'm going to use a Refer number 30 brush. I'm going to go in with a Refer number 18. And I'm going to take my Laura Geller Baked Highlighter in the shade French Kiss. And right over where I applied that liquid highlight, I'm going to apply this. Now I want to re-emphasize the contours I added by using a little bit of a powder contour. I'm going to use one from Rom&nd, and this is the Sculpting Powder in 01. I'm going to use a rougher number 19 brush, and instead of concentrating on one color, I'm just going to mix the two shades together. My Dior Forever Pure Couture Luminizer in the shade 02 Pink Glow, rougher number 20 fan brush. Now I like to take my powder brush, just smooth over everything. The Laura Geller Baked Bronze and Brighten in the shade Fair, rougher number 22, which is the bronzer brush. I am going to use one of my all-time favorite blushes. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Mood Exposure. And I'm gonna use a rougher number 24, just above where I applied my bronzer. And I like to work this up high, kind of going from the center where the pupil or the iris is, and then working my way back into the hairline. I want to add just a tiny bit more blush, but I'm gonna use a different color that has a little bit of a light reflect to it to really kind of pop the apple of the cheek, help create a nice kind of youthful, fresh fullness to the face. I'm gonna use the Clinique Cheek Pop Pearl Blush in the shade Garnet Pop, and I'm gonna use a rougher number 5 brush. You can smile, find where the round is, use the end of your brush, put it right on the cheek. Your cheek will drop, move it just a little bit higher, almost right under where the lower eye is. Start there and blend backwards. That will just give your face a more lifted look even when you're not smiling. And then just blend that shade back. Palette from Etude, and this is from their Music Tiger collection. This middle shade on the bottom called Sleepy Tiger, rougher number 12. I'm gonna look straight ahead into my mirror, find where that outer corner is, and you are gonna start connecting it to the lower lash line. Rougher number 15. The shade I applied, it is a similar depth of color to what I have in my socket line, met with the shimmer that I have on the lid, but this shade is a little bit more of a reddy orange tone. It has more warmth. This is done purposely because this warmer tone is going to help pop out more of the colors within my eyes, because my eyes have a more green tone around the center of my eye, and then the perimeter of my eye has more of a darker, almost like a blue-green color. The more purpley cool tones are gonna really help pop that greeny color, which is the majority of my eye color. That perimeter shade though is going to pop with this warmer orangey tone. Since they are a similar tone, it's not gonna scream like we're wearing some very contrasting colors. It's still gonna be subtle because I do better when my coloring within the products I wear have lower contrast. But this is just a little bit of contrast, but not too much throw off the rest of the look. This is the Refer 23, and I'm gonna use this shade right here called Shimmer Purple. I'm gonna use this shade right here at the outer quarter of my lower lash line. And that's gonna help me connect to the upper. Now I'm gonna go in with a rougher number 1 brush, Shimmery Pink. I'm gonna take this color right here on the very inner corner of my eye, loving this Kosas Airbrow in the shade Gray. Focus on filling in any little gaps that I might have. And for this, I'm using the Huda Beauty Balm Brow in number 2 Neutral Blonde. All-time favorite is my MAC lip pencil in the shade Dervish. I like this shade because it's very, very close to my natural lip color. Since I do get my lips filled once a year, I don't really have to overdraw my lips, but I do use a pencil that is a similar tone to my lips just to perfect the shape. And then I like to use a matte lip color to add kind of like my all over base. For that, I am loving this lipstick from the company Biba. Last powder lipstick in shade 08 Earl Grey. And then to build more saturation and color to really help everything last longer, I like to go with a kind of lip stain product. This is from the brand Amuse, and it is in the shade Sunday. Charlotte Tilbury Charlotte's Magic Genius Powder. I use the shade 1, rougher number 25. pick up a little bit more of our buffing powder, go right on the perimeter of your eyeshadow. I'm gonna use my Refer Lash Curler. After I've curled my lashes, I take my Etude Dr. Fixer Volume Curl Fix Mascara Base Primer. Favorite mascara that I have become obsessed with since trying it out is from the brand Rom&nd. They are a Korean brand, and this is the Han All Fix Mascara. It doesn't smudge, doesn't budge, wears like a dream, holds a curl, but the color is perfect for me. It is a gray, ashy, brown, mushroomy color for mascara, and the color is called L02 Long Ash. And our final step to complete the makeup look is to add a little bit of shine back to lips. I love a shine, and that stain that we applied is going to help keep everything on, but it doesn't have a ton of shine. So my favorite gloss of all time is the Chanel Rouge Cocoa Gloss in the shade Aphrodite. For this, I just like to take it right on the center of the lip. And you might see like a blue gloss and think, why a blue gloss? Blue gloss is great for photography and video because it's going to create a whiter looking smile in picture. So I always have a blue gloss in my makeup collection in my bag, because if you're gonna take a picture, why not throw on a gloss that is gonna make the teeth look a little bit brighter? All right, now I am in something more like decent, but this is how everything has kind of come together. This is more of a kind of smoky, more dramatic look than I would normally go for, but from going to an evening event where I want my eyes to kind of stand out, pop a little bit more, I want my skin to look like skin, but perfected and have like naturally enhancing colors that are best suited for like my coloring. This is the type of look I go for. And I was able to showcase a lot of the Refer brushes for you. Oh my goodness, now I'm gonna have a lot to wash. If the sale is still going on when you're watching this and you've been curious, now you can see some of the brushes in action. The brushes that I used, the makeup that I used, everything will be linked down below in the description box. If you found this enjoyable and helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, y'all.